emailing. Looking for a new gig, but I freeze and panic. Oh, I don't even get me started on coding interviews. They are the worst. I actually 7 years into doing web development, I had an interview out in Seattle for I don't know, one of the real estate platforms, right? One of the search or the like, I don't know if it was Zillow, but it was Zillow like, right? And I nailed the take home test they sent, right? It was all just like HTML and CSS, and I did a 3-column holy grail layout, and I did it in a very specific way because it was probably actually a decade ago now. So it was like really pre-flex in a lot of ways. And they were like, "Oh, you did that. That was awesome. Great job. We're going to fly you out and we're going to do, day of interviews." And one of the interviews was literally whiteboarding. And like, I'm terrible at syntax. Like I'm looking up a command right now for just doing simple HTTP server. Right. And like, that's, I tanked it, right? Like all the other interviews were pretty good. They'd obviously really enjoyed, like, I have to imagine they were looking at like the code that I had written and being like, who did we fly out? Did we fly out a different person? But that was before I got like super into JavaScript, and they had me whiteboarding JavaScript. And I was like, I know jQuery, right? This was like a decade ago. Like, and they're like, oh, I don't know jQuery. I think they were using whatever Yahoo's JavaScript. Maybe they were using MooTools. That's possible. Showing my age a little bit there, but like really interesting. Like they just had me doing this on a whiteboard, and it was like one of the worst experiences. I also had an experience for a less technical role. It was for a program manager, and like I am like at this point I had spent 7 years at an agency. I had led a design and development team, and I know that I'm not like super amazing. Let's go heads up. There we go. I know I'm not super amazing programmer, right? I'm a decent coder. I'm a UX person at heart. I have like all these other passions. I'm really good at talking to people in a lot of ways. I've been doing a lot of client work where I was client facing. So I was like, I can manage stakeholders. I can do all this stuff. I was deemed not technical enough. I nailed a design challenge they gave me. They had me theoretically be given like this, I think it was like create a stapler maybe, or create like scissors basically. And then there was like I was like, who's my audience? Who's my user? And oh, it's for a kindergarten classroom. It's like, oh, all these things. And like the interviewer like stopped me eventually. Okay, we don't need to talk anymore. But then started asking me algorithm questions. And like, I don't do computer science. I make things look pretty good on the web and like talk to people about it. And like, I bombed the second half of that 1 hour interview. And deemed not technical enough. And it was not for a technical position. I understand program managers at large corporations that are developer centric need to be somewhat technical, but I'm not going to be making an algorithm for your program. I'm going to be talking about it in a lot of ways. Anyway, that's a soapbox. But I feel like I'm a professional Googler. But like I can walk you through maybe. Like, again, because I'm a good talker, I can walk you through like my thought on what I would do. But I'm like, I can't write the code. And like, give me Google and like 2 hours and we'll get somewhere. But like, plus like that's a high stress situation, right? Like that's not, I don't have quite the strong opinions that I know exist out there about the interviewing process in tech because I haven't been hit with them as often. I come from a very privileged background in regards to that, but like tech interviews are terrible, just awful. Like, I don't know.